By the end of this video, you're going to know exactly why levothyroxine and Synthroid are not the best choices for medication should you need to take medication for your thyroid. What is up? My name is Melodye Reynolds, founder of MelodyeReynolds.com, and this is my channel. I've helped people to reclaim their lives from the monster that is hypothyroidism through simple diet and lifestyle hacks and education on how the thyroid should work and how you should feel. If this is your first time here and you're into things like learning how to take care of your body with natural methods and especially how to get symptom relief from hypothyroidism through simple diet and lifestyle hacks, then start right now by subscribing to this channel and hitting that notification bell so that you never miss another Tuesday and Thursday upload. Now, let me just go ahead and do my disclaimer. I am not a doctor. I am, however, a fellow hypothyroid patient who is overcoming hypothyroidism and having success in reversing the symptoms that come along with this monstrous disease. So please don't take what I say as medical advice, especially today with me talking about medication. Always run things past your doctor. My advice does not trump theirs. So keep in mind what I'm sharing is just through my experience and that of other patients and things that I have learned in speaking with lots and lots of hypothyroidism patients. I am just a fellow hypothyroidism patient who has had some success in reversing a lot of the symptoms of hypothyroidism using natural methods. As of the filming of this video right now, I have lost 34 pounds. I've stopped my hair from falling out. I've gotten my energy back. I've gotten my sex drive back. I've gotten my joy back. And honestly, I've gotten my life back through all of the diet and lifestyle changes that I'm going to be teaching you here. But I will say that my husband is also doing all the same things that I'm doing, but he is currently taking medication. However, it is not levothyroxine or Synthroid, and he's having a lot of success with the medication that he is on. So I want to share with you today why levothyroxine and Synthroid, the two most highly prescribed medications for hypothyroidism, actually don't work for most people. I won't say everybody, but I will say it's a very high percentage of people that it does not work to actually get rid of symptoms. And isn't that why we take medication? We want to get rid of the symptoms, right? We want to feel better. We want our bodies to go back to being energetic, healthy, lean, toned, and functioning as they should. And so to me, it only makes sense that if you're on a medication that is not alleviating your symptoms, then I would just want to give you something to think about today. Because for me, anything that I put into my body, I want to know how it affects my body. And if I were taking a medication for my thyroid, I would want to make sure I was doing things like losing weight, keeping my hair from falling out, having energy again, getting rid of the anxiety and depression that comes along with this disease. And so many people are taking levothyroxine and Synthroid and it's just not working for them. So I want you to open your mind up to know, first of all, there's other medications that you can take, and there's also a lot of things that you can do on your own to help your medication to work better if you are taking it, and to help your body to feel better and maybe even need less medication, because I've seen that happen. Okay, so let's dive into this. First thing though, I want you to understand you need to know how your thyroid and how your body work. And here's why. If you don't understand how your body should work and how it should feel, what your thyroid is supposed to do, how to know if it's working properly or not, what the symptoms are if you are hypothyroid, then how can you possibly know what to do, first of all, naturally to help yourself, but then how to make the best decisions with your doctor about your health? You can't make informed decisions if you're not informed. Therefore, are you really making the best decisions for your health if you don't understand how things are supposed to work and how you're supposed to feel? So let's take a look at how this little butterfly-shaped gland, this tiny little gland in your body, does a lot. If you don't already know this, your mind is going to be completely blown. I'm about to empower you with some major information about how your thyroid and your body work. So get ready. Are you ready? By the way, you're not going to have to remember all of this. I have linked below in the description for you a blog post that's going to explain everything I'm about to tell you. So after the video is over, head on down to the description below this video and check out that blog post. And by the way, if you never want to miss another Thyroid Thursday video, because I do videos here on my channel and across my social media on Thursdays about thyroid health, so we call them Thyroid Thursdays, then check below this video. There's going to be a link to get on my Thyroid Overcomers email list, and I will email the information out to you every single Thyroid Thursday. It's also important for you to really understand how your body works so that you can help to guide your doctors. Thyroid disease is one of the most missed diseases. Mine personally was missed for 3 years. I kept going to my doctor and saying, I feel horrible. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm tired all the time. I kept picking up weight, and I started telling her, I feel like I'm dying. I think I'm gonna die tonight. And she would kind of laugh, and I would say, no, I'm serious. I really feel like I'm gonna die. And she had tested my thyroid on a couple of different occasions to the point that I had to go get a second opinion. And it was during that second opinion that my thyroid was then caught. So it took me a total of 3 years to get diagnosed with hypothyroidism. It takes some people up to 10, going through an average of 5 doctors. So when I tell you that I truly believe that hypothyroidism is an epidemic, I really mean that. There are a lot of people walking around with thyroid disease and hypothyroidism that have no idea why they're gaining weight, why they can't sleep through the night, why they feel off, why they're exhausted, why they're having anxiety and depression out of the blue, why they're losing their hair, why they're losing their sex drive. And they go to their doctors and they're told, you're fine, everything is fine. Which I'll also link a blog post below about why that happens. The #1 reason that thyroid disease is missed. I won't go into that into this video. It'll be a future video. But since I don't have that video done yet, check out the blog post below that I have linked for you, and that will help you to understand why it's missed. It is also grossly mistreated, meaning lots of times only one medication is prescribed. It's Levothyroxine and Synthroid, and that doesn't actually work for most people to get rid of symptoms, which is the goal of taking a medication. So by understanding how your body works and how it should behave and how your thyroid should be affecting all of that, then you're going to be able to help to guide your doctor, because that's what you're going to have to do in most cases. Most traditional doctors do not understand thyroid disease. So you are going to have to learn to advocate for your needs. And the first step in that is understanding how your thyroid works. So let's have a little lesson on how your thyroid works and why that's important. And then you'll better be able to understand why Levothyroxine and Synthroid aren't working for most people. Now, if Levothyroxine and Synthroid, if you're taking those and you've got no symptoms at all and you feel great, go ahead and hop out of this video. This video is not for you. So this little butterfly-shaped gland in the front of your neck, your thyroid, is actually the battery for every cell and every organ in your body. It controls your metabolism, your heart rate, your body temperature, your liver, your gallbladder, your lungs, everything. Your thyroid controls it all. It plays a part in it all. So when you have a slow thyroid, let's say your thyroid has slowed down by 10%, all of your cells, all of your metabolism, all of your organs are going to slow down by 10%. Now, if you're truly hypothyroid, you feel like you've slowed down 100% because you are so sluggish and tired and your body is just screaming at you and you're gaining the weight and nothing seems to be working as it should. One of the easiest ways to know if you have thyroid disease is to take your basal temperature first thing in the morning, because that's going to tell you that your thyroid is not working, it's struggling. I have a blog post that I've linked below for you to show you how to take your basal temperature first thing in the morning. It's a super easy at-home test that you can do, and it just quickly tells you, gives you a snapshot at what's going on. Is your thyroid really struggling? It also controls how fast food moves through your digestive tract. So that's why with hypothyroidism, you're also going to see a lot of gut issues. It absolutely affects your liver and your gallbladder. I know firsthand all about that, unfortunately. So it's super important that if you are hypothyroid, you get that thyroid working again. Because if you don't, you're going to be like me. You're going to wind up losing your gallbladder. And I don't want to see that happen to anybody. This is also why you will have a lot of brain fog when you are hypothyroid, because your thyroid is going to affect how quickly your brain is working. Brain fog is a big issue when it comes to having hypothyroidism. It also gets slowed down. And that is why you have all of the symptoms that you have. then what happens is your body goes into survival mode. It freaks out and it goes, we gotta survive. So all of your organs slow down, and then you start to hold on to weight because your body goes, oh, we got to hold on to fat because something's happening here, something's off, something's wrong. And it lets go of things that aren't important, like your hair. You don't need hair to survive, but your body thinks you need fat to survive. It needs stored fat. So that's why you have the weight gain, the hair loss, things like that. It also controls the rate at which calories are burned, which means it's another way of putting on weight. And that was one of the worst symptoms for me. Between losing my hair and gaining weight, I about lost my mind. So the thyroid actually has to be told what to do. So just like you have a car, you have an accelerator and you have a brake. You can speed up and slow down whenever you need to. You tell your car when to speed up and slow down. You're in control of it. Well, the thyroid has to be told, hey, put out more thyroid hormone, or oop, we don't need as much, let's back off of that. And that job actually lies right up here in your brain, in your pituitary gland. Your pituitary gland actually tells your thyroid when it needs to wake up and produce more thyroid hormone, or when it needs to back off and slow down and not produce so much. And that is where we get TSH, the thyroid stimulating hormone. That comes from your brain to your thyroid. This is where the communication is happening. So all of this thyroid business actually starts in your brain. Now, this is where our first problem arises when it comes to doctors. Most doctors will test your TSH and another part called total T4. We won't get into that right now, but just know that they really rely heavily on your TSH level. But that's a huge mistake, because a lot of things happen beyond this point right here. Beyond your TSH, beyond your pituitary telling your thyroid what to do, a whole lot of other processes have to happen that, if other tests aren't given, will be completely missed. By the way, I have linked below for you a blog post that talks about which thyroid test you should get. And I highly recommend that you ask your doctor for these thyroid tests, because most of them only test the TSH and the total T4. You need a full thyroid panel to know what your thyroid is doing. If your doctor won't do it for you, I will also link a video I did that shows you how to order your own blood test online. It has a link for you to do so. And then I show you how to go to a local draw center, have your blood drawn, and have the results emailed to you. Or you can get them through an app so that you can test your own blood, because it's your blood, you're allowed to test it, to actually see what your body is doing. And then I have also included for you in that blog post what levels your thyroid should be for you to be feeling good. So you can check that out. Everything is linked below in the description of this video. And this is where we run into troubles where you hear your doctor say, your TSH is normal, your TSH is fine, or we checked your thyroid, it's normal. We checked your thyroid, it's totally fine. Because they're only looking at your TSH and not the rest of the stuff that I'm getting ready to tell you that happens after your brain tells your thyroid what to do. Once your brain tells your thyroid, hey, wake up, I need more thyroid hormone, then the next part in the process is your thyroid will produce a hormone called T4 and a little bit of another one called T3. But mostly it puts out T4. That T4 is actually called free T4, and that is what you want measured, and not total T4. A lot of times doctors will measure total T4, and that's one of the tests that I always recommend that you take. T4 is actually known as your inactive thyroid hormone. So I like analogies, they help me to learn things. So let me give you an analogy of what T4 actually is. T4 is actually like crude oil that you use to make gasoline with. Now, you cannot put crude oil in your car and your car run. If you put crude oil in your car, you're going to mess up your car. You can't do it. But you do need crude oil in order to make gasoline. So something has to happen between crude oil and gasoline, right? A process has to happen to take the crude oil from being crude oil and make it into something usable by your car known as gasoline, right? That crude oil has to be converted into gasoline. So in much the same way, your T4, your inactive thyroid hormone, has to then be converted into T3, which is your active thyroid hormone. And T3 is the hormone that actually makes your body feel good. It helps you to lose weight. It helps you to have energy. It helps you to focus, to be able to think, because it helps your brain to be running properly. It helps your body temperature to come back up to being normal, so you're no longer suffering with cold hands and cold feet all the time, which are very common with hypothyroidism. It helps your skin to go from being dry to being normal again. It gives you back your sex drive and your libido. It gives you back your emotions because you're not depressed, because your whole body is freaking out. It helps all of your organs and cells to speed up. It helps your metabolism. It helps your body to run optimally. That process actually occurs when your thyroid puts out the T4. It has to then go into your gut and into your liver, where it is converted into that gasoline, which is T3. T3 does a lot for the body. So we need to make sure that your body is getting that gasoline and not the crude oil. T3 gives you life. It makes you feel like you're a human again. It makes you feel like your old self again. It helps you to feel normal. This hormone is so important. And now we're going to get into why levothyroxine and Synthroid do not work for most people. Now that you've had that whole anatomy lesson and you've learned how the thyroid works, you're going to understand why levothyroxine and Synthroid are not the best choice for most people. Okay, listen in close. Levothyroxine and Synthroid are T4 only medications, meaning you are adding more inactive thyroid hormone to your body. You're adding crude oil. The problem with that is most of us also need some T3 along with T4 if T4 is needed. So we need some of that crude oil, but we also need some straight up gasoline to get into our bodies and get them working again. Levothyroxine and Synthroid are both T4 only medications. They don't contain any of the gasoline. And many times people with hypothyroidism have a sluggish liver, so that's why you see people with high liver enzymes diagnosed with fatty liver when you're hypothyroid. That actually happened to me and cost me my gallbladder because I figured it out too late, which is why I share with you to keep you from going through the mistakes that I did. And you have a sluggish liver because remember, the thyroid slows everything down, including your liver and your gut. So what happens is when you add more T4 to your body, your liver and your gut are already sluggish. They're not then able, most of the time for most people, your liver and your gut are slowed down so horribly that they are not able to convert the T4, the crude oil, into the T3, which is your gasoline. So it's really important that you work on liver health also, that you clean up your diet, that you flood your body with nutrition. Obviously, these are things that you need to work on because you've got to help your body to convert the crude oil to the gasoline, the T4 to the T3. But by taking a medication that's just more crude oil, just more T4, and not helping your liver and your gut in any way, not giving them any gasoline to get going at the rate that they should, then your body is not going to be able to convert that T4 into that T3. You're taking a medication that's not helping you with your symptoms. If you're not seeing symptoms diminish, there's an issue with the medication that you're taking. Even if you're told that your levels are now normal or fine, that really doesn't mean anything if you don't feel normal and fine. You're not crazy. And I completely understand your frustration. And you're going to have to advocate for yourself because no one knows what it is like to live with hypothyroidism unless you experience it for yourself. You cannot explain to people the feeling of a sluggish, slowed down, overburdened body. And so if you're going to take a medication, there are medications that exist that have T4 and T3, crude oil and gasoline. There are medications such as NDT, which is natural desiccated thyroid. That happens to be the medication that my husband is taking. It actually contains porcine, which is pig thyroid, which is more like our thyroids, and levothyroxine or Synthroid. And I saw immediate changes in my husband. Now, my husband also did the diet and lifestyle hacks that I'm going to be teaching here. So that made his NDT to work better and be more effective because you need to understand your diet and lifestyle can help your medications to work better more quickly. or it can slow them down and make your medications have to work harder. Therefore, you have to take more. So it's really important to zero in on your diet and make some simple diet and lifestyle changes. Now, currently, the NDTs are not working as well as they used to. There's lots of reasons for that. I'm not going to get into all of that here. There's some issues with the sourcing on that, and there's some issues with them not being as effective. Currently, my husband's is working okay for him, and there is only one brand, Armour Thyroid, that seems to be working for some. Now, the best option currently, the filming of this video, and things may change, is you can also get a compounded synthetic T3, T4 combo. That works just as well. And listen, I teach you all the ways, all the things that you can do here naturally. Diet, lifestyle hacks, things that you can change, what you should eat, what you shouldn't eat. I teach all of that because I am not currently medicated for my hypothyroidism because I honestly wanted to see what I could do naturally. Now, I am still hypothyroid. I still have some symptoms, but I've reversed about 90% of my symptoms. So I've lost weight. I've done all the things that I told you about earlier, and I feel much better, and I'm continuing to heal. But I do want to say that there are some circumstances where medication is necessary, and that's okay. Don't feel defeated by that. Don't feel like there's something wrong because you have to take medication. There's nothing wrong with needing medication. The issue is taking the correct kind of medication that gives you symptom relief. And for the most part, Synthroid and Levothyroxine alone do not give you symptom relief. Now, can you take Levothyroxine and Synthroid if you add some T3 medication like Cytomel to it? Yes, it's going to work the same way as the NDT or the compounded that I just told you about. So if you have Levothyroxine and Synthroid, you can add T3 to that. And in some cases, some people like myself, if I choose to take medication, I will be taking a T3 only because I know exactly what my thyroid numbers are, and there are some cases where T3 only is the best option. I won't get into all that here, but that is what I would do if I choose to medicate in the future. Now, I'm just gonna go ahead and let you know up front, doctors don't want to give you T3. They don't like it. They don't like you talking about it. They are leery of it because it does things like speed up your heart rate, speed up everything going on in your body. So you have to be very in tune with your body when you start taking T3, because if you over medicate, you're going to get things like heart palpitations, you're going to feel weird, you're going to be short of breath, you're going to have more anxiety. So you have to pay really close attention if you start taking some T3 to how your body responds. And that will tell you if you have over medicated on T3 or not. So doctors know that most of us don't really listen to our bodies, and we don't pay enough attention to them. So they're not real comfortable with prescribing T3. And honestly, they just don't have the updated education that they need. There's very little time spent in medical school on the thyroid. But let me just tell you, your body is your responsibility. Your health is your responsibility. Your healing is your responsibility. Nobody is going to care more about your body than you do. So that's why it's important for you to learn how your body should work, to learn things like what I've just told you here today, to learn to advocate for yourself. There are some great doctors out there. You may need to search a while to find one. I so far have been through 5. And I don't mind firing my doctors because they work for you. They provide a service. And in future videos, I'm going to be talking about how to advocate for yourself with your doctors so that you can find a good doctor to help you manage your hypothyroidism and so that you can feel better. But also, the major part of what I'm going to share with you here is how to get a lot of symptom relief with things that you can do on your own. So be sure to like this video, share it with a friend, because so many people have thyroid disease and they don't know it, or they're taking the wrong kind of medication and they don't know why. They still feel horrible. And I want to be that guiding light for people who are frustrated with this disease, because this disease robs you of your life. Question of the day. Do you take Levothyroxine and Synthroid and still have symptoms? If you do, I would like to hear from you below. How do you feel? What are your symptoms? How long have you been taking those medications? So your next step is going to be to check out some of my other thyroid education videos. So I have linked for you here the entire thyroid education playlist and another video that I think that you will be quite interested in viewing. You can tap the screen to watch either of those, and if you see that circle with my face in it, if you haven't done so already, tap that, subscribe to the channel. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next Thyroid Thursday.